Good morning and welcome to Godly Play for Sunday, May 17th, 2020. I'm Miss Betty. Last week, Miss Laura shared with you the story of the great family. Today, I'm going to tell you the story of Abraham, the father of the great family. Abraham and Sarah traveled to Ur, and then they traveled on to Haran, and then they went to a new land. When they came to the new land, they came to Shechem. And in Shechem, Abraham went up to a hill, and he drew close to God, and God drew close to him, and God was there. They traveled on to Bethel. And when they arrived at Bethel, Abraham went out, and he drew close to God, and God drew close to him, and God was there. They traveled on to Hebron, and once again, Abraham went out, and he drew close to God, and God drew close to him, and God was there. God told Sarah and Abraham that they would have many children, that they would have as many children as there are grains of sand in the desert, as there are stars in the sky, and there is dust in the land. But Abraham and Sarah had no children. Then 3 men came from the desert. And they told Abraham and Sarah that they would have a child. Abraham and Sarah laughed. When the child was born, they named him Isaac, which means laughter. Isaac grew into a boy. And God appeared to Abraham, and he told Abraham that he wanted him to take Isaac as a sacrifice to the hill of to Moriah, to the mountain. So Abraham went and cut wood, and the next day he took Isaac and a donkey and 2 helpers and started traveling toward Moriah. On the 3rd day they saw the mountain. Abraham told the helpers to stay with the donkey, and he and Isaac would go on. Isaac carried the wood. Abraham carried a bowl of fire and a knife for the sacrifice. When they reached the place for the sacrifice, Isaac turned to Abraham and he said, "Where's the lamb for the sacrifice?" And Abraham said, "God will provide." So Abraham took a rope, and he tied up Isaac, and he took the knife to begin the sacrifice. But the angel of the Lord came and said, "Stop, stop, you don't need to do this." So Abraham turned and looked, and in the bushes he saw a ram. So he untied Isaac and used the ram as the sacrifice. He and Isaac went back down the mountain. And as they were going back down the mountain, the angel called out to him and said, "Abraham, God has said you will be the father of a great family, and you will be a blessing to everyone because you obeyed God." Sarah grew old and died, and Abraham buried her in a cave near the oaks of Mamre. Once Abraham had found a wife for Isaac, he too died and was buried beside Sarah in the cave. Isaac and Rebekah had many children. Esau and Jacob were 2, Esau and Jacob grew. They married and had children. Their children grew, married and had children. And so it went until there was a great family. And you were part of that great family too. Now I wonder, what is your favorite part of this story? I wonder, what's the most important part of this story? I wonder, where do you see yourself in this story? I want you to remember the things in the story of Abraham. Remember the cave where where Sarah and Abraham were buried? Remember the ram that God supplied for the sacrifice? Remember how Abraham listened and did exactly what God told him by taking Isaac to the mountain. Remember the 3 men who came from the desert to tell Sarah and Abraham that they would have a child. Remember that God kept his promise that Abraham and Sarah would have as many children in their family as the sands of the desert and the stars of the sky and the dust in the land. And remember how Abraham drew close to God and God drew close to him and God was there. I hope you will remember and share this story with your family. Have a blessed day.